In this video, I'm going to be ranking 5 UFC hair transplants from the best to worst. And you guys will find out which UFC fighter got the best hair transplant result versus which one did get a very bad result. You can also learn about things, what not to do when getting a hair transplant and what are some pitfalls you can fall into that can make your result a disaster. So make sure you stay tuned until the end. And as always, before we start, shout out to our sponsor, GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out. See if you like them. The number one UFC fighter on my list who got the most fortunate with his hair transplant would be Paul Craig. He has pronounced baldness on the left and right corner, and probably even his hairline already regressed a little bit since when he was younger, like in his 20s or so, probably a centimeter to 2 already. He's 34, by the way, probably 33 when he got his hair transplant done last year. Let's not forget he has also some thinning, diffuse thinning on the mid scalp, especially when he gets sweaty and his hair gets wet. And also he has quite a bit of hair loss, not a lot, but quite a bit on the crown already that is uncovering. And that would already signal to me, if I would be in his case, like, okay, I can actually turn into a Norwood 5 in the near future if I'm not gonna get on medication. And I see this with many guys quite often when they get a hair transplant in this situation, they don't get on medication. These areas in the middle can thin very quickly, especially if you get that thick head of hair transplanted on the front like Paul got, and then also the crown, the mid section can thin out and can look very contrasty after already a year or two since the surgery if you are not on medication. So be aware of that. This is about 3 months in after his surgery when his new hair starts to grow and the hairline starts gaining more and more definition on the left and right. Now there is one thing I would have done differently. I wouldn't have done it so straight on the left and right anterior parts of the hairline. I would have done it a little bit more higher up here and then maybe just do something like that, like this type of slope, or just get that hairline a little bit more concave shape, a little bit something like that, but not so straight that just my taste. It's not gonna look so natural after 5 or 10 years once he starts, also losing more hair potentially. So it's better to have this sign of, mature hairline in your hairline shape, in my opinion. It's better. It looks like 25 to 3,000 grafts have been transplanted on the frontal zone. We can see how it's growing also from this angle right here. But the most important thing for many guys, it's density, and it's something I definitely can confirm that it's there. It's looking very full and dense. In fact, I also found out that this video that is making his hairline extremely full. It's extremely full, guys, because he's sitting in a room where the lights are dimmed and it's looking darker, and that makes his hair look also darker and fuller. It almost seems as if he has done scalp micropigmentation underneath, but I don't think he has done it. It's just looking super full, slightly more straight that I would like him to have. So right now, let's rank this hair transplant of Paul Craig. The density is definitely 5 out of 5. Naturalness, 4.5 out of 5. Just because the hairline is too straight, in my opinion. There is a lag of micro irregularities. The hairline design, 4.5 out of 5, again, because I think that he went too straight on the corners on the left and right anterior portions, and he could have pushed it up a little bit on the areas where the anterior hairlines meet the temporal hairlines. Okay, overall I would give this result 4.6 out of 5. He also got some hair filled in the crown as well. On some of these pictures, it seems like that his crown is also looking pretty full. So he got a really good hair regrowth overall. And I'm liking this result more than I'm not. Okay, so it's 4.6 out of 5, everybody. The second UFC fighter on our list is Paulo Costa. He got a hair transplant early mid 2021, and this was him before, and I actually made already like 2 or 3 videos on him, so I don't want to go too much into details here. I just want to tell you guys that he had a lot of hair on the frontal hairline and frontal third, and he was kind of thinning in the mid scalp zone and also a little bit or more more actually on the crown, as we can see on some of these photos right here. So did he need so much dense packing in the hairline as he actually had, as you can see on this photo right here? In my opinion, he didn't. But since he has received so many grafts in the frontal hairline densely packed, one would imagine, and really one would really expect like the thickest possible result, because not only the frontal hairline of him got densely packed, he had still a lot of existing hair in the hairline, so you would expect to have a really good density. Now, in reality, it's not looking that bad. I mean, it's looking pretty natural, it's looking pretty full, as you can see, again, thanks to his very good hair property, something similar to Paul Craig, you know, medium high hair coarseness, also wavy curly hair. It's looking very good. However, what I'm seeing on photos like this, for example, I'm seeing there is a little bit of see-through effect. There is, you know, lower density than I would imagine, considering how much dense packing went into his frontal hairline. And I can imagine that maybe in 2-3 years from now, it can actually look even more thinner if he's not on medication. So in my opinion, this hairline could have been denser, considering how much dense packing went into it. One issue that I have also with his hair transplant is that looking at his you know, transplant and how it was densely packed right here, and this is from my previous video, guys, you can check it out later, I would actually wish that his result could be presented in a different way, not just look at his result this way from the front, but to get a better overview of how well these grafts actually grew, especially the ones transplanted in the frontal third. One would need to have a after result where the hair is being combed through or like parted on this section, so we could better see how that density actually is looking, because my estimation was up to 4,000 grafts that he, in my opinion, got. And looking at him like that before, I don't think he needed so many grafts. So one would really expect a really good fullness in his hairline. I would give him 4 out of 5 for density, because as you can see here, the density could have been done better and should have been done better considering the dense packing that had been done. The naturalness, I'm gonna give him 4.5 out of 5, because there are some areas where the softness of the hairline is looking better, and that's thanks to his existing hair being there. And there are also some other parts where it's looking a little bit more detectable, a little bit more artificial, but it's still within the frame of, you know, single grafts in the front, and it's looking still kind of natural. But again, because of the lower density, it's looking a little bit more detectable. That's why only 4.5 out of 5 points for naturalness. And then hairline design, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 because the doctor did not do much there with the design. He just pretty much overlaid new grafts across his existing hairline. So he didn't have so much to mess up there, and I would give him 5 out of 5 for it. Overall, I would rank this hair transplant 4.4 out of 5. The UFC fighter number 3 on our list is Francis Ngannou, and you won't believe me, guys, what happened here. The clinic who did his surgery had a simple job to lower the hairline on the corners, fill them out, and fill out the area behind the hairline, the thinning in the frontal third you can see on this picture. Pretty simple job, right? Not so much surface to cover compared to somebody like Paul Craig or other guys you will see in this video. So what they did, the clinic designed the hairline that actually looks pretty good, and I'm liking that hairline on Francis. It also has a little bit of that concave shape. It's kind of curving inwards. It's not entirely straight across the whole forehead as it was the case with Paul Craig. So I'm liking that. So that's what they did. They also created that little peak in that hairline, the mid-frontal point, and that's where he had his previous hair preserved, and I'm liking that. So as you can see from here, his hairline didn't even recede so much. He's 35. He was like 34 or 5 when he got the surgery done. So that's not so much hair loss for a guy who is in his mid-30s already. So that's great. Pretty good candidate, not much hair loss, and also afro hair. It's also pretty good when it comes down to creating full result. The doctors usually don't need to dense pack so much per square centimeter to create a high density, to decrease the see-through effect, unlike by patients like me with fine and straight hair. So there are very good points, and not so much can go wrong, you could think here. What the clinic did, somehow, they decided to dance back the front, even the area where he had like a lot of existing hair in the area of the mid-frontal point, as you can see right here. And oddly, they didn't dance back the area behind his hairline at all, in that circle area, which you can see in this video as I'm showing it here. That surprised me a lot. You can watch this video that I already made on Francis. So as a result of the inability of the clinic to properly, sufficiently cover the area in the frontal third, Francis ended up with defined hairline across his new hairline. But again, we noticed that patchiness behind the hairline, it's definitely unnecessary and it didn't need to happen. So as a result of that, I would rank his hair transplant lower than both of the previous hair transplants. I'm gonna give his hairline 3 points out of 5. For the density, for naturalness, it's gonna be 4 out of 5, and hairline design, I'm gonna give 5 out of 5. Because again, I do think it was a very well done hairline design. They did not lower the hairline much. They just create that nice inward curving shape on the interior left and right side. But again, they were not able to sufficiently, dance back grafts on that remaining portion of the frontal third for some odd reason. Okay, so overall, I would rank this hair transplant 4 out of 5. And now we're coming to the number 4 and number 5 on my UFC hair transplant list. This is the dangerous territory, guys. I don't wish anybody of you to end up in this zone, because these are going to be results that are not very optimal. They're actually pretty poor and will probably surprise many of you guys. These results also act as a proof that even if you have a lot of money, you have the possibility to spend like $20,000 to $50,000 for surgery, like you can see Conor McGregor here did. You're still not gonna get the best result. You actually get pretty poor result. And this is also a proof that even if you have a lot of money, you still need to do a lot of research. You know what you're doing, you know what you are signing up for, etc., etc. So Conor McGregor, everybody, also quite an easy case, mid-30s, not so much hair loss, a little bit less than Paul Craig, like an over 2 to 3 transition. Wouldn't be so hard to create a good density and good naturalness. I'm sure many of you guys would agree. Unfortunately, what happened here was that although his new hairline didn't have such a bad design, if it would have been done right, actually he could have ended up with a really good result. The problem is the density and naturalness, guys. So for all of you guys who have been already following updates I did on Conor McGregor will probably know that his density is very, very low, and this is 9 months after the surgery. Rarely it gets better from here on the hairline, guys. Don't want to disappoint many of you who are in the 9 month now and waiting for more growth. But again, on the crown it's possible, on the front rarely. So again, for the density, I would give him only 2 out of 5. For the naturalness, 2.7 out of 5. Why? Especially the grafted hair on the temples is incorrectly grafted. Not only the density is low, but also the angles are way too high. I'm not seeing any double grafts, okay? I'm not seeing any robust looking grafts there. They may appear as robust. Maybe here I actually see some doubles, so I take it back. So again, but it doesn't change anything on that unnaturalness, unfortunately. So this will need to be removed either surgically with, punching it out with FUE manual method, or with the laser, just kind of laser it off. But then you lose these grafts, you cannot reuse them. So although the design was not done so bad, and if it grew in well, we would actually see a very defined, very well framed hair, kind of juvenile type of hairline. Too aggressive design, but it wouldn't be so terrible. Probably 4 out of 5, that's how I would rank it. But considering how bad it kind of grew in, overall, I would give this hair transplant a grade of 2.5 out of 5 only. So again, the density is, could be at least 50% better, especially on the left side. On the right side, it's looking a little bit better, but on the left, it's very poor. The fortunate thing here is that Connor can at least like comb it forward and kind of hide and mask all the imperfection that you can see as he's doing in this picture. But one thing that it's going to be hard to mask, it's going to be that improperly placed hair on the temple on the left portion and the right, where you can see literally the hair growing like to the front, a little bit up. It definitely does not blend with the existing hair on the temple. So I hope that this experience of Conor McGregor will become a great lesson to many of you guys who also may be on unlimited budget, but always don't forget, you still need to do your research. Please don't forget about it, guys. For all of you who are interested in learning more about my one-on-one consulting services, after watching this video, check out the link in the video description below where you can learn more about how I can help you out maximize your hair transplant success. And it's going to be my pleasure to assist and guide you in person. Now, let's talk about our number 5 on the list. It's going to be Volkan Ozdemir. Volkan Ozdemir had the most hair loss out of all of these 5 fighters. To begin with, he was like a Norwood 5 to Norwood 6 before his hair transplantation. Although he did not go super low with the hairline design, he could have gone definitely higher. And I also don't like that transition from the hairline to the temple. It's like curving too much. It's making the hairline look more detectable. So here it should be absolutely clear to you that you need to go with at least 2-step approach, if not the 3-step approach. That means you need 2 surgeries or 3 surgeries to get like a wholesome result. Obviously, you cannot get a hairline like Paul Craig did or Conor McGregor did, but this guy is already like 3 classes, higher when it comes down to his balding. So you got to be more conservative. You got to be thinking about sparing the donor more and also kind of strategizing yourself for successful restoration over 2 or 3 surgeries so you can get the most grafts per session, but also not over harvesting, not harming the graft survival rate. So it needs to be planned in a more smart and thorough and kind of sophisticated manner. And you got to plan it already before your first surgery, okay? Now, as far as hairline design, Volkan is gonna receive the lowest grade. Unfortunately, it's gonna be only 2 out of 5, simply because not only the hairline was positioned way too low still, I don't like the convex shape right there. It's curving way too much, and the hairline simply was not designed with the anticipation of him needing another 1 or 2 transplants and covering the rest as well. So the doctor was definitely not experienced, and that also tells me that there are still doctors out there who are allowed to perform hair transplants who will do that to you. Now, as far as density, I'm gonna give him 2 out of 5, same as Connor's, because I do think that if you look at his hairline density, it could have been at least 50% denser. Obviously, such density would not make sense considering he's super bald behind. I'm just speaking like in technical terms, the density definitely is very poor here. And for naturalness, I'm gonna give his hair transplant 2 out of 5 points, because how do you make this look natural? I mean, you need to do a repair, you need to correct these corners, probably do some graft removal there with a laser, or punch it out with the FUE and then kind of rearrange it, probably shave it off would be best thing to do, and then do scalp micropigmentation to make it look smoother and to have a natural design instead of that roundedness here with the island of hair at the front. And obviously overall the lowest score out of all of these fighters, it will be only 1.5 out of 5, also because you see that his donor has been also over harvested, especially the right side. It's very visible, so very bad clinic choice from his side. In fact, he's already shaving his head off, as you can see right here. And for all of you guys who are thinking like, yeah, Matt, what happens if my hair transplant fails? Can I shave it? Yes, you can. He's a proof of that. You can see that he just shaves it, and the only thing you can spot, it's like this type of line that is quite invisible. You just see it as a line, but it doesn't really have a color to it. That's something that you end up with if your hair transplant, ever will fail. Not that it should, you should avoid it. I'm here to educate you and help you maximize your hair transplant success, but you should also put a lot of brain work into this before you get your hair transplant, not after. After it's too late, okay? That was it from me for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and for all of you guys who are interested in my one-on-one consulting services, make sure you check out the link below where you can learn more about that, how I can help you out with saving your hair loss quickly, assisting you and guiding you throughout your hair transplant clinic research, saving you time, money, stress, and frustration connected to that process. And with that being said, thank you again for watching, and see you soon in another video. Take care.